Good evening, YouTube. Ty, Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys are doing well. Well, we're getting started with the severe event now that's expected throughout the overnight tonight. There is currently one tornado warning at the time I've started making this video, and this is just to the south of Oklahoma City by a little bit in Norman. It's just to the southwest of Ada. It's moving east. We have a radar indicated tornado for the counties of Murray, Garvin, Johnston, and Poltotoc counties in Oklahoma here. We also have a threat for 1.5-inch hail. I mentioned previously that that would be the main threat with this storm system tonight. We'll briefly touch up on the severe weather threat tonight because we've already pretty much covered it almost all the way down to a T. But there is also an enhanced risk for tomorrow, so I need to make sure I'm going over that as well. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into that then. So here is what we have going on right now. We have a severe thunderstorm watch over parts of Oklahoma and Texas, and there is some activity starting to fire off towards that enhanced risk region, which is on that little trifecta between Tennessee, Arkansas, and Mississippi. We do see activity there right now, but as of right now, no severe warnings. Business will pick up in this region, believe me, though, as we head later into the evening hours. So this is going to be an area that we'll be watching really closely. I really wanted to live stream this event, but it's so late into the night, and I still have to work in the morning, so there's just no way tonight, unfortunately. I'm sorry for anyone that could have possibly been looking forward to that. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into tomorrow's threat. So this area has been shrinking progressively over the last couple of days, and it still is shrinking actively now. We haven't the enhanced risk actually being trimmed back a little bit now, whereas before this extended almost all the way up into the Great Lakes region, even towards parts north of Cleveland, even trying to flirt with being in New York. Now, the slight risk itself even has been trimmed back now. It's still hanging around in central Ohio, but now northern parts of northeastern Ohio may have only a marginal risk at this point. Still an area from Cincinnati all the way down towards southern Mississippi, we could still see an enhanced threat for severe weather, which includes a threat for stronger tornadoes. In fact, the southern side of that enhanced risk is where we have a threat for significant tornadoes. We also have an increased wind threat over this entire enhanced risk region. So pretty much, like I said, from Cincinnati all the way down through the southeast and into parts of southern Mississippi, we're going to have to watch out for increased damage and wind potential. Hail threat's pretty impressive too. This has remained at a slight risk level, but it's over here to the south where the lapse rates are going to be the most ideal. So we know the upgrade that we got here. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at some of the dynamics that have changed. So for the most part, warm sector hasn't changed much. We'll go over that real quick. But you can clearly see plenty of warm temperatures. Warmest temperatures, of course, being over here towards, I'd say, southern Alabama and southern Mississippi, especially towards south central, southwestern Alabama. Starting to get into those 80s. But we still have to watch the cold core setup that exists a little further to the north, or semi-cold core setup. It's still relatively warm, I'd say. But as time goes on, of course, we know the final result of this system. But when you mix that cold air with, or that warm air, with the moist sector that we have, it's pretty obvious where our battle zone is going to be. So look at this little pocket that's really developed over the last day or so in the model runs. This is the HRRR, by the way. We had a little pocket here where we even get some dew points in the 70s, and that's why there's a lot of concern across this region as this extremely rich moisture advects over this region for the threat of stronger tornadoes. With a low-level jet being as present as it is over this region, it's not really going to take a lot for a supercell to develop and really start to thrive. Speaking of the low-level jet, we're going to go ahead and take a look at that too. And like I said, into the overnight, tonight even, we can take a look and see clearly here that we have a really strong pocket that develops right here. I'm going to mark it actually. Right across here where you see that little bit of red coloration beginning to take shape here. Right across there is where the low-level jet really starts to maximize there. You can see that we're starting to get towards that 50 knot territory. Hence, that becomes a huge red flag. In fact, it strengthens even further overnight. So this could be a very nasty threat as we head into the long haul here. Then as we head later into the day, there's a small jet streak that pops up right about here. And this, as a result, is probably why that enhanced risk is been issued, or that increased tornado threat has been issued across this region. Definitely increasingly concerned about southern Alabama more so now than anything else. I'm going to go ahead and see what this sounding looks like. Hopefully the timing of it is right, and if it'll load, there we go. Look at that. Solid curve in the hordeograph, in the low levels of the atmosphere. Very strong helicity as well, which is to be expected with such a strong jet streak here. Cape is considerable, but could be a limiting factor. But the main topic here is that moisture and dew point that we're seeing here, getting up to about 68 and 69, right on top of each other. And as a result, with that low-level jet, a little bit of cape in the atmosphere, look what we got here as a result. Tour. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. But that being said, get out of this sounding here, and we'll watch this low-level jet move further and further to the east, getting away from the best dynamics, and we're starting to get into marginal risk and even just regular garden variety thunderstorm territory. It'll be windy once this front does pass through for probably the next day or so, but then after that we'll start to return to normal over time. Friday could be pretty cold for a lot of regions across the eastern half of the country though, so that's another story there. And then, last but not least, of course, we also have to keep an eye on the winter storm we have here. And the name on that one is actually Nova, by the way. I haven't had as much opportunity to cover Nova as I would like to, partially due to just how frustrating this severe weather forecasting has been. And it's really no one's fault in particular. It's just more so no real clarity. There was no real clarity with this severe weather event until the last minute. Like I said, and now, like I always call it, a nowcasting situation. It can become a real pain sometimes, and sometimes it can become all you focus on because you're like, I want to get it right. So there you go. That being said, I'm rambling a little bit, but we can see our low pressure developing here, and here is the beginning of our snow bands over towards Kansas and parts of Nebraska here. We'll watch that develop along with the severe threat here. We do see a little bit of ice potential starting out across northern Missouri, and this ends up starting to change over a little bit more so towards snow. But the heaviest snow, of course, is going to be more so towards southern Wisconsin and parts of southern Michigan here. There is a little stretch here where we do start to see some freezing precip on the HRRR, though. Towards the latter half of the day tomorrow, that's when we will probably start to see the most severe weather across the southeast throughout the course of the day. But of course, as we get into the evening hours and lose our daytime heating dynamics, we probably should see a downtrend in severe weather. Although I do find a feature here across the south here that's kind of interesting. We'll have to watch and see what that does, because there could be a few more isolated severe storms possible, even into Georgia. Because when we look at this risk factor area, Atlanta's still in that marginal risk, but like a few days earlier, we were pretty well in that slight risk. I find those storms to be in an interesting shape. The dynamics don't really call for it, but it can't be ruled out. And I mean, the temperatures aren't horrible, but the limiting factors that I think really dissuade the slight risk are going to be the Cape right here, as I'm pointing, and the lack of daytime heating as well. Also, I'm trying. I can't get my words out properly, but the low level helicity. There we go. Jeez, I say that word a thousand. I say those words 1,000 times, and this is the one time I can't get it right. But the low level helicities and the lack of cape kind of dissuade any sort of upgrade of any sort. We'll see what happens with this, but odds are I think across the Atlanta area we're going to be good heading into tomorrow. So that's the end of this video for now. We'll continue to cover the second half of this wintry event as we head into Thursday afternoon. And then look forward to this video that's coming up around Saturday afternoon because, spoiler alert, there is some big stuff ahead for March. I'm gonna try to convey it to you the best way that I can. Although when it comes to looking at some stuff like I'm just gonna let you know on Saturday exactly. I'm gonna tease you a little bit. Hope you guys enjoyed that. But anyways, that's the end of this video. Hope you found it useful. If you did, of course, you know what to do. Slap that like button. Hit the subscribe button as it lets me know that you're enjoying the content. And also share the video. Help me get this info out to the people that need it, especially for tomorrow, especially over towards southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, because it looks like it could be pretty dangerous. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but I'll have a video up in the morning getting more in depth with the storm mode we could be seeing. So until that happens, this has been Metalhead Weatherman. I'm signing off for the night. You guys take care. See you soon.